Lauren.
Hi, everyone.
How are you?
Good. How are you today?
Good. Welcome to our Taylor Hooten Foundation live session.
It is good to be here.
We appreciate you joining us very much, and not only joining us today, but also your support of our work and serving on our All Me Advisory Board.
Well, it's an important mission to be in support of. So often during my career, I spoke out for clean sport, but then also I was affected by those who were not clean. So we definitely need to be supporting anyone who is thinking about the cause of why it's important to work to make sure that sports are clean for everyone.
Yes, absolutely. And we thank you. And before we get started to learn a little bit more about you, just wanted to take a moment to just say that the foundation stands united against racism and violence. And as a role model, would you please share with us what the Black Lives Matter movement means to you and how the community can help?
Yeah, it's a really tough time right now in society. The thing that I'm most excited about is it seems that the world is awake. It's tough that it took this kind of event for the world to wake up, but all people seem to be invested in knowing that, racism is real, that Black lives do matter. And I've just seen quite a bit of an outpouring from peoples of all nations and all races over the last few days. Saying that this is not okay and that it's important that we join the conversation to let people know that this is not okay. I think we've felt for a long time that, we're fighting a battle on our own, and now people feel very supported as organizations. And like I said, people of all colors and races are joining the fight, and real change has an opportunity to be made.
Oh, well, thank you very much for your words. And thank you again for being such an amazing role model. I would say being a 4-time Olympian with 3 medals and the first woman to ever earn both a medal at the Summer and Winter Olympics shows that you very much competed at the highest levels without the use of appearance and performance enhancing substances. So thank you. And could you just share with us a little bit about what being All Me, PED free, means to you?
Yeah, so All Me is truly 100% me. So it's funny because right now I'm actually doing a popular diet called Whole30, and it's very much in line with my overall goals and values. So it's eat real food, use that for your nutrition, be the best person that you can be, based on what it is that you have available to you as a natural resource. So, our food is something we need to eat to live. We can also use that food to fuel our bodies. And then also, like you said, to show up and put your best foot forward. So All Me means I'm 100% happy with my performance, whether I win or I lose. Because when I reached the finish line, I realized that I did everything I could to make the most of that moment. And so you don't have to have regrets. You don't have to feel bad about your performance when you know that you maximized your full potential, which is whatever your natural ability is.
So we have a comment that says, I hear Whole30 is so hard. So tell us a little bit about how that experience has been going.
Well, I'm on day 3, so I'm doing
it
in June. And it's not hard at all. It's a good reset. So the thing about it is that it gets rid of processed food. That's the big thing that happens. You can't eat any, flour, any sugar, like I said, anything else that would be processed. A lot of fast food, if that's something that you're into, that's out of the question for Whole30. But the things that are dairy is the other thing that, a lot of people are like, I don't know, make it about dairy. But if you think about it, there's so many different things that you can eat besides the bad things. So what we often do when we're looking at something new or changing our nutritional habits is all the things we can't do, and we just suffer and think about it. Oh, I can't have brownies, I can't have cake, instead of thinking about what you can eat. And so they do a really good job with Whole30 of providing you with a long list, but you can eat meat. You can eat all the vegetables. You can actually have potatoes, which, while you can't have grains such as rice, a lot of diets don't have potatoes in them. And it's just really about getting back to the basics of like, what is food without all the additives, the preservatives, and, the different things that don't make us feel so well and don't keep our engine running clean.
Yes, well, my husband and I tried it, and I have to be honest, say we did Whole30-ish. We tried very hard to stick with it, but we did feel so much better. Like you said, eating the clean, natural foods really was good, and it's something that we will definitely revisit. So speaking of food, I read that your fun fact is that you have been called a food computer, I believe, because you are good at tasting things and knowing what's in it. Can you tell us a little bit about how that started, or how you... I can hear you, yes.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have, like you said, I have a love for food, which is why I needed to get on Whole30. I needed to reel myself in a little bit and say, hey, hold on a second. Especially life after sport, it's been pretty tough as an athlete, trying to figure out what that balance is, how to exercise for good health when I'm used to exercising for, world-class competition. So for me, anywhere you can go to eat. Like, I love to travel, so that's another thing. I've been all over the world. Last year I went to 11 countries, and a big part of that is being able to taste the food. So to have new things hitting my palate is like the most amazing thing ever. And because I love to cook and I also love to eat, I have a pretty uncanny ability to be able to say, like, oh, that has sage and cardamom in it. And people are like, what? Like, it just tastes good, Lauryn. And I'm like, no, this is sage and cardamom. And I think they actually put sugar, even though it mostly tastes salty. And yeah, my friends think I'm kind of a weirdo, but sometimes they test me at restaurants, and yeah, they'll bring the chef out and I'll say, yeah, like, that's what's in it. I don't know how she knew all the things, but.
Well, I love that. And it probably makes you an excellent cook, because you know exactly how those flavors combine and how they taste together. So you mentioned travel, and you have traveled extensively throughout your professional athlete career as well. What was your favorite place, or where was your favorite place to go, and why?
I have a lot of favorite places. So if you asked me this question early last year, I would have told you my favorite place is Switzerland. And it is still at the top of my list. I've been to Lausanne, Lucerne, Zurich, and Geneva, Switzerland. My aunt actually lives in Geneva. So I've got to really, really experience the country and love every single thing about it. Love each place that I've been. I feel like they have kind of a westernized culture, but definitely their own culture. So, it's like you fit in well as an outsider, but, you also have to mesh into something that's new and it's pleasant. It's just a really, really wonderful place. Second on my list, though, I went to South America last year. And so I'm really in love with Argentina and Colombia right now. In fact, if we were not all grounded and the world was not shut down, I'd be in one of those two places.
Oh, I bet the food there, all the flavors, amazing.
Oh, goodness. It is unbelievable. I also went to Peru last year and was so pleasantly surprised with the food in Peru. So there's lots of big restaurants there, and the ceviche is a big thing. And it's, to be quite honest, in America, I don't eat ceviche because I'm a little bit weirded out by, like, how did you make this fish look like this, and where's it sourced from? And, Peru is like the homeland of where ceviche is made. And I tasted ceviche there because I don't have a problem with the raw fish part of it. And it was amazing. I ate so much ceviche in Peru. So if you're headed down south, that would be the place where you want to try something like ceviche.
Okay, I'm glad to know that. But Switzerland, I do just have to tell you, very near and dear to my husband and I's heart. He travels there several times a year for work. So when you said that, it was almost like it was planned, because I had no idea you would say Switzerland. And so, yes, what a beautiful country. So it's neat that your aunt gets to live in Geneva.
Yeah, she's been there for quite a while. Her husband is from Sweden. And so they kind of bounce back and forth between the two places. So I'm lucky to be able to pop over to Europe and, have a place to call a home base and move around into other places as well when, like I said, the world is open.
Yes, perfect. Okay, so let's talk about your professional career as an athlete. Let's kind of start back with track and field, if that's okay. When did you discover your first love for it? Kind of walk us through how that all started.
Yeah, so I mean, you first have to get the story of, like, my mom versus my dad. So my mom will tell you that I started to run faster than the family German Shepherd. And one day I got home, like, I'd go outside to play. I got home faster than the German Shepherd, and that's when she knew I had talent, potential. So I got to figure out something more organized for this girl. My dad, on the other hand, would say we were at the Carnegie Science Center, And I do remember being at the Carnegie Science Center. There was a FloJo hologram, and I would race the hologram. And I beat the hologram. And that's when he was like, okay. So I'm assuming it wasn't set at world record pace because I was only 10 years old when I beat the hologram. And as an adult, I never ran the world record. But I was the youngest person to beat the hologram. And it was a pretty big deal. And he was like, okay, like we've got to do something a little bit more than just what, the summer programs and things like that.
Well, either start, you were clearly very fast.
Yeah, I think I had some natural talent, and it took me a while to realize that by putting in a little bit of extra hard work, I could excel to a different level. So natural ability was one thing, but sooner or later I was going to bump into girls that also had natural ability, and so I was going to have to start to perform better. And that's where, like I said, learning about nutrition. I went to the University of Miami, so I got on a really good training program, and those things made all the difference.
So if I remember correctly, you kind of decided to pivot and realize that maybe there would be a career as a professional athlete while you were at the University of Miami.
Yeah, so I was a junior in college, and actually my goal that year was to win the national championships. That was it. I had not been thinking about the Olympic Games at all. All I wanted to do was win NCAA championships. And I thought my freshman year, I was pretty good. I could have done a little bit better than I did. I made it to the national championships and I got last. But my sophomore year, there were a couple times that I beat, the previous national champion. And, I beat kind of really, really hard fields. And I thought that when I got to nationals, I had the potential to win, and I didn't. So my junior year was really about, how do I get to the finish line first when it counts? And let me start buckling down. Let me start paying attention. Let me go above and beyond, because I'll say something else. My addiction prior to, learning a lot about nutrition was orange juice. And I'm like, well, it's good for you. It's got vitamin C, but, fruit juices have a lot of sugar in them. Mm-hmm. And I didn't drink any water. Like when I tell you no water, water was not a thing. It was orange juice, and when we were at practice, I would drink Gatorade until I could get back to some orange juice. Not healthy. Everything in moderation, everyone. So yeah, my junior year of college, I started to, like I said, really pay attention to the little things and do better. And I think that's what kind of took my speed and my skill to the next level. So I won the national championships, and it just happened to be 2004. So now I had to look from 2004 over to, it's the Olympic Games. Like junior in college, national championships, Olympic Games. I didn't really get a chance to plan or to say that I really wanted to do that. It was like, you're the second fastest person in the world right now, the fastest American. We need you to be at the Olympic trials a month from now.
So tell us a little bit about your Olympic experience. Let's kind of talk about your track and field experience first.
Okay. Yeah. So in 2004, I was lucky enough to make the Olympic team. I got the silver medal, and it was a really cool journey. I think the thing that was most cool and stands out to me about 2004 was my family being there. So like I said, it all happened very quickly. It was not something we planned for me to become an Olympian, or everybody was saving up and getting ready for Athens. That wasn't an option. And there's a very short period of time. So a lot of people don't realize this, and a lot of Olympians face this, is the Olympic Games or the trials are in June, and the Olympic Games are usually in August. So you've got 2 months to know if you're going to make it, and either your family is betting that you're going to make it and buys all this stuff in advance and could be, or they wait until you do make it, and then they've got to get tickets and stuff. A lot of families don't have a clue, their kid might be new. So it's very, very expensive is the point.
Sure.
There was a fundraiser for my family, my hometown of Rochester, Pennsylvania, and then also Detroit, Michigan. So my parents split up when I was 3, so I split time between Detroit and Rochester, Pennsylvania. And one of the things I really love is that, neither place, disowned me. They both fully, took credit, and I'm really, really grateful for the time that I had in both places. But they did fundraisers in both places, and they actually ended up we were trying to raise enough money for my mom and dad to be able to go, but they raised enough money for 10 members of my family to go. So
wow.
Sisters and 2 brothers, so we are a big family.
So special, like you said, that memory to have them there.
And I think that's the thing too, is a lot of times we focus on the medal or, getting to stand on the podium and things like that. But for me, it was really about the journey. And at the time, I was kind of like a deer in headlights, so I didn't know what it was about in 2004. But I look back on it, and that's what stands out to me more than anything is the kindness of everyone who, you know, chipped in to make sure that I had support when I got there so that I could put my best foot forward and my family could see me in what we thought was going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity. But I got 3 more chances.
Yes. All right. So tell us about the next chances.
Yeah, so in 2008, I made the Beijing team and I got 4th place there. That was a tough games because I came off of 2004, you know, I was the fastest American. The young lady who competed in 2004 and won the gold medal was no longer competing. So I felt like I was, you know, next in line. This was my crown to be had. And, you know, I ended up not even without a crown, but without a medal at all. And so if anybody wants to know the worst place that you can get at the Olympic Games, it's 4th place. You'd much rather get 8th than to get 4th. And some people are just like, wait, what? And it's just to be right outside of the medal count. You know, thanks, go home is kind of how it is. Like you wake up the next day and there's no bells, there's no whistles. You're just done. So it was a really, really tough time. And in addition to that, my dad passed away in 2008. So he wasn't able to make that Olympic Games. He, you know, was trying to come over and participate, but he actually got sick during that time. And for a lot of it, I didn't even know he was in the hospital. So after my first set of competitions, you know, they at least told me he was in the hospital and not doing well. And I spoke to him. And you know, I did get to go home after the games and see him, but he did pass away that year. So the thing that stands out most was like 2008 was a rough year. So
I'm sorry for your loss, Lauryn.
So then in 2012, I made the Olympic team as part of the relay. And the thing that sticks out most about 2012 is having made not really the decision, but having matured enough to understand what it really meant to be a part of a team. So I did not compete as in my regular event, the 100 meters, because I didn't make the team in the 100 meters, but I was named to the team even though I didn't make it for the 100 meters as part of the relay. And, you know, there were 2 relays. There was only relay in 04 and a relay in 08, and neither one went well. So in 2012, there was a lot of pressure around, you know, can America actually ever pull this off? Because they always have the fastest 4 girls, but if they don't get to stick around the track, they're no good. And so to be named to that team was kind of bittersweet for me because I realized, you know, 2 times that the failure happened and I was a direct part of the failure. So there was a lot of pressure around that, but I was also the veteran athlete participating in the relay. So I really had to use my experience and my expertise to make sure that we didn't end up in the same situation in 2012 as we did in 08 and 04. And I think that, you know, my role and what I really contributed to that team was the experience, the conversation, helping people understand that chemistry is very, very important. And I did get to compete in the preliminary round, but I didn't compete in the final round. And some people say, well, you didn't really earn a gold medal, but it took me a while, like I said, once again, look back on these things and maturely say, you know, I definitely helped earn a gold medal. Like I said, I know what happened behind the scenes, and then I know, you know, getting my job done in the prelim so that there could be a final was a really big deal. So it just kind of changed my perspective on what it meant, like I said, to be a part of a team, but also what it means to earn a medal and, you know, different things, that it's just not black and white. It's not you ran or you didn't. It's not who got to the finish line first. It's about the effort and the team behind the effort.
Well, it sounds like you had a great mentoring opportunity to your teammates.
Yeah, and it kind of set the stage for me because track and field is an individual sport. So we are kind of trained in and of itself to look after ourselves, make sure we're in good standing. You know, a week before the relay, you're all competing against one another sort of thing. But it set me up really well to understand teamwork, and that's what I was going to be using 2 years later in bobsled. Little did I know. So bobsled is a 2-person sport. So 2014, if we're fast forwarding, I made the Olympic bobsled team and I earned a silver medal with Alana Myers-Taylor. And the thing that's unique about it is they put 9 girls on a team. So, you know, they named Team USA, and then we're working together until 1 month before the games.
Oh,
and
wow.
6 of those 9 girls are going to make the team. So they're going to whittle it down, and time is definitely of the essence. But a bobsled weighs like 400 pounds. So you can't pick up a bobsled by yourself. You can't just like, oh, I'm going to just drag this thing here or there. it is very much a team effort. You need a driver, you need a brakeman, and then you need support to be able to make sure that the sled is ready on and off the ice. And it's a lot to navigate in addition to the fact that we're competing. So, you know, the driver, there's 3 drivers, they got their spots secured, and then we're rotating as brakemen among the 3 drivers. And we're competing, but we're also having to work together. So that's a very, very interesting dynamic. And I think the thing that helped me during that time was I wanted what was best for the team. And like, I decided, like, while it would be fun to make the Olympic team, if I'm not the best one, if I'm not the one that's going to actually make sure that Team USA is doing the best, then, you know, no sweat off my back. So it made it really easy for me to just say, what do you need? How can I help? And to really be showing up to help versus to showing up to compete or to take someone's spot or for there to be any backbiting or anything like that. And so it was a really, really good experience. It was a really good, great growth opportunity for me, you know, managing different personalities. You know, we always had roommates and things like that as a professional athlete, you know, because of my rank and status. I usually had my own room. So, you know, it was just very, very different. It was a much more humble sport, and it taught me a lot about, you know, humility for myself.
Yes. Okay. So tell us a little bit about the transition from track and field to bobsledding. Had you always enjoyed bobsledding? How did you discover it? And how did you learn that this was another sport you could compete in?
Yeah, I actually read an article the previous year about Lolo Jones and a few other track girls that had tried bobsledding right after the 2012 games. And I remember being with my coach and saying, like, I wonder how they found that. Like, so interesting. You know, all I know about bobsled is Cool Runnings. And I saw her in the airport a year later. We were both heading to a race in Rome. And I just asked her about it. I was just like, this is really interesting. I saw this article, like, how did you even find it? She was like, it was so wonderful, Lauren. It was like great because they teach you everything. They need your speed, but they're very good teachers. And it's a really good sport, you know, for camaraderie. And so she's like, you should try it. And I didn't try it with the expectation of winning or getting to the Olympic Games. It was more like, I need something to do life after sport. This sounds interesting. I'd love to continue to stay active, to use my body differently. And another part of it is I was struggling with my weight. So a lot of things unfolded kind of, you know, perfect timing for me is, you know, I didn't realize, like, I was like, you know, I know what to do. I know what to eat. I know how to train, all these different things, but I don't understand why my weight is still fluctuating. And, you know, I'm a heavier track and field athlete. It's not translated into as much power as I want. And I was just slowing down. And I think there's a time that we have to realize that, your body is just changing, you know, the same way you do in your middle school years, you know, they call it puberty. Your body continues to change over time. And it was time for me to have a new body. And instead of embracing that, I was fighting it. And then I finally had no choice but to embrace it. So bobsled ended up being perfect for me because their idea is mass move mass. And they want a heavier athlete. So you need to be as heavy as possible. We have some weight limits. So we want the human body weight to be as much as possible so we're not pushing a really heavy sled. Okay. So first thing they said was like, oh my goodness, you're so little. Like, they saw that I was fast, but they were like, I don't know. I don't want the little girl in my sled because we're going to have to put weight in the sled in order for everything to even out. Well, little did they know, like I said, I've been struggling with my weight. It was like, just take the reins off a little bit. And I was like 12 pounds heavier. Hey. And they were like, oh, okay, stop gaining weight now. Slow down for a second. But it was really cool for me to find another way to be able to use my body, to continue to work out, to use, you know, my elite workout, you know, genetics, if you will, but also, you know, to do something different. So I think I talk a lot to people about this idea of being able to pivot. You've got to be able to take what you have and use those skills in other areas.
So a couple things that I wanted to visit with you about based on this conversation. One, did you notice that a lot of your track and field skills transitioned over to bobsled?
Yeah, so that was kind of the big draw, was people knew that track and field athletes were good to transition over into bobsled. So if you are a track and field athlete and you're looking for a new sport, if track and field was your sport, bobsled is a great place to consider. We're always doing recruiting, so never be shy. But yeah, the skills are, you know, one, being a powerful athlete, but then also being a sprinter. So being fast, you know, it's kind of like the Flintstones. You got to move the sled with your feet, then you jump in and you ride. So you got to be the engine that gets the sport going.
Okay, great. So I also want to just touch a little bit on when you kind of talked about transitioning with the sport and weight and body image and things. One of the things that we have found at the foundation is that many of the users of appearance and performance enhancing substances are actually using for appearance reasons. Actually, the 1 and 2 reason used is to look good and to feel better about myself, followed third by athletic performance. So just in general, what words of encouragement or advice would you maybe have for a young female who may be struggling a little bit, or male, struggling with body image or weight, like you're saying, as they're transitioning after sports or during sports?
Yeah, I would say, you know, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. So whatever performance enhancing things that you may have come across or maybe considering have lifelong effects. And so I think a lot of what people don't think about is the idea of time. You know, I do something for a quick fix right now, but it affects me over a long period of time. I always said to people, you know, I'm not interested in having a kid that has 12 toes and 3 eyeballs. And, you know, you never know what those people that are making something in a lab that is, you know, meant to make you fit overnight or make you look good overnight. It's by any means necessary. And so you get something right now, but you end up paying for it over the long term. The other idea is that there is no overnight, you know, thing. So like I said, right now I'm doing
There you go.
I said I'm doing Whole 30. So Whole 30, it's 30 days. Like, and I expect to look different in 30 days, but I don't expect to be like in track and field ready to compete in 2021 games, you know.
Sure.
It didn't take me 30 days to gain this weight, so it's not going to take me 30 days to lose the weight. You've got to know and understand that, you know, everything takes time, and everything worth having takes time. The same way we show up to practice every day, and good practices make good competitions. Good competitions make us, you know, able to go to the championship. You've got to be able to invest your time in anything you want to get a result at. So, you know, you take this quick pill, you get your instant results, you affect yourself for a lifetime. But if you start doing that and trying to translate that over into other aspects of your life, you're looking for the quick fix, you're going to find out you're fired from a job because you took the short way out. You're going to, you know, find out your friends are leaving because, you know, you gave the quick answer instead of giving the true answer. You know, you just start, it becomes a pattern over and over again. There is no quick fix. There is no magic wand for any aspect of life.
Oh, thank you so much, Lauren. This is why it is such an honor for us to have you as one of our All Me Advisory Board members. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for those words. Thank you for the example and the role model that you are. And I would just love to leave everybody with one final question. Young athletes, what is your advice to young athletes?
I would say if you are a young athlete, the main thing I would do is, like I said, one, be 100% you. So you don't need the supplements, you don't need the pills, you don't need the performance enhancing things. You need to invest right now in knowledge. So learn as much as you can. You have so much more information available to you than we did. So via YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, etc. There's tons of ways to get information now. And if you really want to excel, take advantage of those ways. But also to ask a lot of questions. You've got to be thirsting for knowledge if you want to be able to better excel. And don't think that you need to, like I said, let it all happen overnight. You're 12 or 13 right now. Your body is still changing. You don't need to do the exact same workouts that I did in the Olympic Games. That's probably not what your body's ready for. So, you know, take it in stride, understand that there's a certain amount that's good for you right now, and always listen to your body. That's a really important aspect too, is, you know, parents are saying one thing, the coach is saying one thing, you're trying to live up to the standard, you got goals and values, but your body is telling you, I can go more or I can't go more. I can achieve more, you know, we're going to, you know, break out of our comfort zone and go to this next level. Or it's saying like, hey, if you take another step, I'm going to, you know, pull this muscle. So, right. You know, and you understand, and I want you to be able to get really attuned to listening to your body right now.
Well, thank you again so much, Lauren. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time. And I hope you get to travel to South America and Switzerland again soon.
Thank you. Someone asked a question about my face, so thank you.
Yeah.
Skin compliment, but
it is beautiful.
The answer I'll tell you is, once again, all natural. So I don't put anything on my face. I also don't wash my face, which some people might say is dirty, but what I do is, like, when I'm in the shower, you know, it gets kind of misty because it's hot. I just wipe my face with a towel, like a dry towel. So that's it. No water, no anything. I just like take a rag and that's it. So.
Oh, well, thank you for that too. And yes, beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we hope everyone enjoyed listening to the wonderful Lauryn Williams. Thank you again so much, Lauryn, for joining us, and we wish everyone a great rest of their day.
All right, you guys have a good day.